Hey beautifuls. So I have some good lighting now. It makes such a difference. So I have to call myself out on something I did this morning, and I felt like I should share it because I really feel like I'm not the only one that does this. And it's about treating men and women differently for the same behavior. So if a man does something or a woman does something, do you treat them differently because they're a man or a woman, right? And so I want to give you the example of what happened this morning. I was just about to have a shower and get ready for a client. And hey, Robert. Hey, Lisa. And I had a phone call. And I was like, oh, do I have time to answer this call? I was like, no, I'll answer the call. And it was a lady. And she was like, hey, I'm interested in what you do. I'm interested in getting a session. And I asked her, what type of session are you after? She's like, oh, I don't know. This is for me and my partner. So I was in my mind, I was thinking that she was wanting a couples tantra session. And then I kind of thought, okay, actually she might be looking for an escort, or she might be looking for an erotic massage, which is not what I offer. So I thought I'd better check in with her. And I said to her, well, are you looking for a tantra session or an escort session or an erotic massage session? And she said, oh, I'm probably looking for an escort. And so I was super lovely. I was like, that's okay. Like, it's easy to, because she's like, I don't know what tantra is. And I said, well, I think what you're wanting is it that you're wanting a threesome? She's like, yeah, that's what I'm wanting. And I said, okay. Well, what you need to do is you need to go to this website and put in the filters, and then put in like escort. And you know, it was really lovely. I was like, you know, and I'm like, oh, it's so easy to get mixed up. It's so easy to not notice because the writing's a little bit smaller. I was like super understanding, right? Super understanding that it was easy for her to mistake that I might be an escort, because actually where I advertise my tantra services is through like erotic massage and escort pages, because what I find is most of my clients come to me because actually they originally are looking for like a massage, but then they're actually dealing with sexual issues or things they want to, like, there's other things underneath that they're actually wanting. And that's why most of my clients come to me is they say, well, originally I was kind of looking for an erotic massage or an escort, but then I started to read your website and I realized like, oh, actually this is what I need, you know. That's the main thing. That's the main thing I hear all the time. It's like, oh, you just spoke to me. You just like knew so many of the things that I was struggling with, and I just really resonated, and I thought you could help me, and la la la. So what I feel with that, I'm getting off a little bit off topic, but I'll come back, is that a lot of people, and particularly men, don't know how to understand or word what they're really wanting, and they think that they're going out and fulfilling it through like sex or massage is going to fulfill, but usually it's actually numbing them, or it's taking them away from the emptiness or the disconnection that's going on. And afterwards, often they can feel like a bit empty or a bit, anyway, actually I'm going to talk to this another time. I'm going to speak to this thing another time. I was getting distracted. Anyway, so of course I was like, it's really normal for you to think that, because on these websites, that's often what people are looking for, right? So I was super nice about it. And then she's like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, and then I said goodbye. And then I started to have a shower, and I was like, you were really nice to her, EJ. And I was like, if that was a guy, would you have been that nice to him? Would you have like been so helpful and so lovely and so, and I was like, I really had to think about that, because I know in the past in particular, this is how I would have responded, would have been like, he clearly didn't read my ad properly. He needs to go back and read my ad, because that's not what I offer. Right? This is the attitude I would have. Like, here we go, here's another guy who doesn't read my ad properly, and all he does is look at my photos, and this may be true, right, by the way, this may be true, and he just assumed, even though it says at the top of my ad that please read my ad in full before you call me, because you need to make sure that the services are fit for you, rah rah. And it's so funny when guys do read my ad, they're like, I read your whole ad. Yeah. So it's like this automatic like wrong making of like, don't wait, like the story that I would be telling myself is like, don't waste my time. You obviously didn't like really read properly. You're just after one thing. That's just like, there's almost this like, you need to respect me more. What else is there? Yeah, we're curious to know if those of you watching, like, do you do this, like noticing? And obviously mine's a specific example, but I want you to think about instances you've had with men and women, and then flip it around to be like, what if that was a man or what if that was a woman? Would you have behaved and reacted the same way, right? So yeah, so I was reflecting on this. I'm like, would I have had the same response? Probably not, you know. And so I'm here to call myself on it. And how would I have responded? I probably would have responded and said it, or just asked, because I actually had someone ring me earlier asking for something, and I said this has changed over time, but because I used to be more on what I just shared with you, more in the like, don't waste my time, you haven't read my ad properly, and this kind of energy. And now it's more like it's just a request. I said, oh, have you read my ad? I really love it if you go back and read it and just make sure that this is a fit for you. Yeah, it's really interesting. So I feel like this is something interesting to explore, because what we're gonna need to look at is what is in the space with that. If we're treating people differently based on their gender, what is the stories that are in the way, right? What is the stories that are stopping us from really behaving the same with certain people, treating them in the same way? Now, I used to find that when I was escorting and I had men that would waste my time, like I call them time wasters, that would just call up wanting to hear your voice, or call up and make a booking and not show up, cancel last minute, like these kind of things. That would frustrate me. Like, it would end up getting very frustrating. And trust me, I'm not the only one, because it felt like there was a level of disrespect and time wasting there. And when I would get frustrated about it, I get like pissed off at the person. I'm like, I wouldn't yell at them or anything, but like when I got off the phone or whatever, I'd feel icky in my body. And then what I started to do was I started to actually use it as an access to my anger, as an access to my frustration. So what ended up happening is then I got excited when someone wasted my time. Because I was like, okay, I'm going to go and get my wild woman on, and I'm going to punch my pillows, and I'm going to scream, and I'm going to like, you motherfucker, like all this energy I would get out. And then eventually what happened is that stopped happening. Like it's very rare that I would ever have someone that would not show up or cancel. Like now, like it just, I mean, just yeah, like this. And I feel like it's because I got the story out of the way. Like, actually, I know this to be true. It's because I got the story about people wasting my time out of the way, so people stop wasting my time. But what was really going on is that I was wasting my own time, right? I was fucking around with my time. I wasn't being organized. I was angry at myself for all the ways that I wasted my own time, and then projecting it onto them, and then attracting that was showing me this anger that needed to be accessed, right? So in fact, it ended up being grateful to the people that didn't show up, and trusting that I wasn't supposed to see that person for whatever reason. And using it as a tool to actually go and feel my emotions that I had been suppressing. So yeah, so that was really cool for that time. But and it's a level of respect for my own time as well, and having boundaries in place, and having agreements that I have with clients and things like that, and being in my own integrity with my time. So in this experience I had earlier, there was this little bit of energy of like, do I have time to answer this call? And like I did, but it was, you know, there might have been a point like if I didn't, then maybe I would have actually not answered the call and messaged that person back later. So I guess my message here is to really start looking at, you know, how we treat people differently based on any stories that we may have in the space, or perceptions. A lot of what happens with women is based on past experiences with men. We'll assume that men are misbehaving, and when I did work as an escort, I did have a lot of men that would ask me for things that they clearly hadn't read my ad, that I clearly don't do. And guys, if you're watching this and you book escorts, please make sure you read the ad and not just look at the photos, because it's one of the most frustrating things. Or I mean, I suppose it's an access to our angle. But not everyone is this self-aware to go and use it as that tool, right? So don't think you're doing us a favor. But yeah, so it's about where was I going with that? I got a bit distracted. Okay, anyway, totally, where was I? Someone tell me where I was. Where was I going? Maybe that's all I had to say on that topic. Anyone? So yeah, so basically it's, yeah, okay, here, I got it back. Okay, is that where men, we have these perceptions that men are misbehaving. If they don't show up how we think they should show up, then we make it mean something about them as a person or us as a person. Like, they're disrespectful, they don't respect me, I'm not good enough, whatever it is. And we put these perceptions in the space, which then means we act differently towards them, which means they actually respond differently towards us. So if we take those perceptions out and came with love, with understanding and compassion and that reality, how would we show up, right, into what their experience is? So for example, if it was a man that called up, I could drop into his reality, right, and he was looking for an escort, I could drop into his reality of, okay, he found me on a page, this is probably where they is looking for an escort. Yes, he's a man, he's visual, he's gonna look at photos, right? And maybe not read the text. Maybe he didn't even read the first line that says, please make sure you read my ad, because, you know, this is what I do and I am not an escort. I didn't say exactly that, but maybe he didn't put the filters, and maybe he just went straight to the pictures. And then I can come from that space of, okay, I get it, like, you know. So yeah, so that's like, it's like when we drop into the other person's reality, what can we see, and what space can we hold? And usually what happens is that person will then respond. So when I got off the phone with this lady, I felt like so good. I was like, oh, it was so helpful and nice, you know. She's gonna go away probably thinking she wished I was an escort. She said, she's like, oh, you're so nice and helpful, la la. And who's not to say that that's what men are gonna think too. And maybe they might wanna like respond differently, right? And I'm just thinking of all areas of light, not just in like the example I'm using. So this is some of the stuff we explore at my Loving Men workshop. So I've got 3 Tantra workshops, so the Art of Loving Men Tantra workshops for women. And these are coming up in Perth and Melbourne and Bali. Actually, the Bali one is for men and women. So if you want the information on that, let me know. That's in January, and that's going to be so good. I can't wait for that. And then there's 2 that the Divine Feminine Collective is running that I'm facilitating half a day. This isn't a Tantra workshop, but it is like really good for like if you're kind of new to understanding men, or you're not ready to go into the tantric space yet. This is this is all conscious relating with men and understanding men and how they're different, and looking at our perceptions around men and how that actually affects our relationships with men. And if we get out of those stories and perceptions and resentments and past shit, what can be created in this space is so beautiful. Like, oh my God, so beautiful. And who we attract is really amazing too, how that shifts in terms of all areas. Like the clients I attract now back to before I started understanding and loving men are like so different. And also sometimes I find it could be the same type of client, but they act differently towards me because I don't have my shit in the space, right? So they might show up not as respectful towards another woman, but they show up super respectful towards me. And it's how I show up with them, right? It's how I show up with them that they want to show up that way, right? So we'll speak more to that. So those ones in Brisbane February next year, and Sydney in December, right? So this is all the stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to go deep with this. This is just like surface level what I'm sharing with you here. So if you want to come along, let me know. You can comment below. workshop, and I will put the links on here though, but I can also private message you, especially with the Bali one. There's an application form to fill out, and then we send you all the detail. I mean, all the details are on the Facebook event, but we'll send you information about the different pricing structures, and we've got payment plans. There's payment plans for all the events as well. So if you can't afford to pay up front, they're pretty reasonably priced though. I really feel like they're quite reasonable. So yeah, I want to make it available for people to be able to do. Yeah, all right, well, I'm gonna get going. You guys have had 2 live streams from me in one day. It's the way the feminine works. She doesn't follow the rules about how many live streams you should do and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm from here on in, I'm really going to be more self-reflective of my behavior, and if it does change, and call myself on it, and really call on myself on it, so that I can show up differently, and so I can show up outside of my stories and in a space of love and compassion. With boundaries, of course. That's the other piece, is you can have compassion, but you know, it's also being honoring to yourself and what you're actually available for. Okay, all right, have a beautiful day, guys. Nice to see so many great faces on here. Bye for now.